my dear students. So today we are going to start our online counseling sessions, and these sessions are meant for the paper BEGAE code 182, and the name is English and Communication Skills. Generally, we hold the lectures and counseling sessions in our college, that is Sri Guru Gobind Singh College, Sector 26, Chandigarh. But due to these difficult times, we have to organize the counseling sessions for the students so that they can prepare well in time. We are going to teach the students who are studying in the BA, BSc, and BCom, and we are catering to their needs. Our center is IGNOU 06007, and the students are coming to our college on Sundays, and so that we are going to organize classes. But now, due to the time constraints and other technical reasons, the organization of lectures is going to be held through online mode. So let's start with the topic, that is English communication skills. Generally, students are asking the question again and again in the comments that kindly tell us where to get the study material, we don't have the books. So there is a solution. Students, don't worry about it, because if you don't have received the study material due to the postal delays or other matters, there is one website, that's eGyan-Kosh, and from eGyan-Kosh you can download your study material. Just you go log into the eGyan-Kosh, and there you can search BEGAE 182. So BEGAE, AE stands for Ability Enhancement Course. This is compulsory course for all the students, and BEG stands for Bachelor Program, and English compulsory course. So this program is very important, and like ability enhancement courses like environment classes, English is also the basic course, and this is going to be very helpful in you. BEGAE stands for English and Communication Skills, and generally students are always requesting, okay sir, please you should go to the study material so that it is easy for us. So that's why I have also downloaded the BEGAE study material in my laptop, and so that I can refer to the topic. And students in house, if you have opened your study smartphones or laptops, you can go through the study material, because now with the help of technology it is so easy. So BEGAE is having there are 4 blocks, and in each block there are different units. So I'm taking the help of study material so that it becomes beneficial for you. Right now you are watching it live, and later on when you are going to re-watch it in the recorded mode, so it becomes so easy, like it becomes a classroom teaching, that here I'm teaching you, and at the same time simultaneously you are having the study material before you. Because in the absence of study material, I can also deliver the lecture on communication skills, but there are different students who are coming from the different backgrounds, and for the benefit of all the students coming from the different backgrounds, rural or the semi-urban areas where they don't have much study material available and they don't get it print out. So that's why it is easy for the students that how you are going to learn it, how going to study it. So BEGAE 182 English Communication Skills paper, this is compulsory paper, I repeat, and students across the branches, whether you are studying in BA, Bachelor of Arts, BSc, BCom, everywhere students have to opt this paper. And moreover, not only for academic purpose, communication skills are so important in our daily life that without effective communication skills, you can't develop personal relations, professional relations, and without good communication skills, you are not going to be successful in any field. Whether you are a teacher, you are entrepreneur, you are a scientist, you are a businessman, everywhere you need good communication skills. So that's why the Indira Gandhi National Open University has made this paper compulsory, and especially in English language. Communication skills are not possible only in English language, it is possible in every language. For us Indians, Hindi is our national language. We can easily communicate in Hindi or in our regional language, maybe Marathi, Gujarati, Punjabi, Bengali, etc. But here our purpose is communication skills in particular English language. Why? Because English is now official language of India. Just we go back to the history of English language, you can see that English is not Indian language, it is a foreign language. It was brought into India by the Britishers, by the English people. But once they left India, then we Indian adopted this as an official language. Due to different reasons. First reason is that India is a vast country and there are different regional languages. In order to communicate, we need a common medium. Okay, Hindi is there, but even then, there are some states where people don't understand Hindi. So that's why Hindi and English, these are two official languages of India. That's why and English is taught at school level, at university level, in colleges. We need it, and we have to improve it. And moreover, language is always a science, and there is no end to the science. Like science is developing all the time, similarly, language is developing. And language is developed more and more once we are choosing it again and again. Generally, this is the complaint of the students that we are unable to speak fluently. There is hesitation in speaking, there is hesitation in writing. So, like there are different other skills where you want to be a good singer, if you want to be a good speaker, you want to be a good player, you have to practice in all skills. Same thing happens in this case. That if you want to be a good writer, you have to write again and again. And if you want to be a good speaker, you have to speak again and again. Right? Okay. There are different stages of learning. There should be no kind of discouragement. Failure is there, but again, you are going to pass if you are going to practice. Coming back to your topic, English communication skills. So first of all, I can see that there is course introduction. Students, if you have the study material with you, you can see that the topic is opening with a very interesting poem. So course introduction. So this time the introduction is not given in the prose form, rather it is given in a poetry form. You can see I am reading the poem. One good skill to know is the art of good communication. It is exchanging one's thoughts and ideas, and it results in clarification. We will need to listen closely and look at the one who speaks. You might miss something important, and catching up might take weeks. We will need to speak clearly and use a proper tone. You might need to speak up, or you might be on the phone. If you watch and observe closely, you will pick up on non-verbal clues. You will soon begin to understand and respect others' point of view. So, in these four stanzas, the introduction is given very beautifully. And in the last stanza, the writer says, if you want some good advice, then you should take it from me. When you have good communication, in the dark, you will no longer be. It means good communication skills are leading you from darkness towards light. Because if there is good communication, then there is good understanding. And if there is good understanding, there is no misunderstanding. And if there is no misunderstanding, the clarification is there at personal level, at emotional level, at academic level, professional level, everywhere we are successful. Because these days in our life, we all feel that yes, there is a communication gap between me and my friend, between amongst the friends and the family members, between boss and the subordinate. So this is a very important thing. Communication is learnt at all levels. Even you see that the students who are doing the MBAs or the other professional courses, even it is taught there. But here we are starting only from the level of students of BA first year, BSc first year, BCom first year, means undergraduate course first year program. So that because there are certain levels like first year, second year, third year of 3 year course of the undergraduate program, then you go for post graduation. And then again further you are having research degrees of MPhil, PhD, and fine. Throughout life you are going to be a learner. So there is only the difference of a learner. Like I am also a learner, you are also a learner, but the difference is only of the stage. Someone is at intermediate level, some is at the advanced level, someone is at the primary level. But all human beings, we are learners, and we should remain all the life learners, because a good teacher is a good learner is all the times. Okay, so now there are 4 blocks in your course, because if you are going to study the study material, it becomes easier if you go through the study material in the blocks, because the study material has been prepared by the eminent professors in a way that it becomes easier for the students. Because in the IGNOU system, the teaching and learning is different from the traditional teaching and learning. Because daily in our college, we teach in classes, I deliver lecture in classrooms to BA students, BC and BCom. But here, the difference is that there are no traditional classes. Even there are counseling sessions, and we hold those counseling sessions on Sundays. Hardly we're having 4 Sundays or 5 Sundays, and today we are using this technical mode or the online system there. It is also kind of counseling sessions. Generally, in the counseling sessions, students are sitting before us and we can take their queries. But here, and but here it is only one-way communication, and the one-way communication, you can give your comments and you can ask your queries later on. So block introduction is going to be like in this block understanding communication. We have some theoretical insights in communication process. So first of all, the process of communication is here, and unit 2 is of the globalization of communication, and third is non-verbal communication, right? So starting with the first topic, that is the process of communication. What is communication? What is the process of communication, and why do we communicate in one language? So we have to keep in mind two things. First thing, that is English, the other is of communication. So we are going to communicate in one particular language, English. And English is a foreign language. It is not our first language. Generally, yes, in some states in India it may be also there, but generally for Indians it is our for second language or the foreign language. But anyhow, we have to learn it, we have to understand it. So starting with the process of communication, there are different topics. So first is objectives, introduction, what is communication, the process of communication, barriers to communication, and then what is the different types of communication, written, oral communication, face-to-face interaction, characteristics of conventions of conversation, and different other oral and written forms of speech. So what is the objective of this unit? So that when we are going to study the topic, then there are the process and elements of communication are clear, different types of communication are clear, and barriers to communication are clear, and difference between written and spoken communication. Now you can see that what is communication? Communication is sharing of ideas, sharing of knowledge, sharing of information. And when you have to share something, you are going to need two persons. There is no sharing between without two people. So there is, if the sharing is there, you need two people, agent A and agent B. So when the information passes from one person to another person, then it becomes your communication. For example, if I'm talking to my own self, then this is not communication. It is called communion or communicare with your own self. So when you need communication, then you need one sender, the other is a receiver. So like now I am speaking, you are listening, it is also communication. But only the difference is that if you are speaking, I am not going to listen to you anyhow. So communication is very important, and communication is so important that for human beings, we are living in society. We are human beings and we are social beings, and our interaction is communicative interaction. If you want to interact, then what happens? You have to communicate. So our interaction is communicative interaction. Once you interact, you are communicating. And if you are living in society, we can't live in isolation. We are dependent on each other. We are not independent. We need different things. If we are students, then we need the help of teacher. And if you are a patient, you need the help of a doctor. In every case, there are two agents. So the communication or the interaction is taking place. And here, the simple thing is the process of communication is there is a message. And the message is there in the mind of the sender, and then it is going to the receiver. And when it is going to the receiver, then the receiver has to receive it through the proper medium. And the proper medium may be different of the different nature, right? The written form, oral form, or any like of message, audio, video, verbal, non-verbal. So we are going to discuss those topics later on. So first thing is of the process of communication. The process of communication is so important that even that your first unit it is mentioned that there is first of all sender is there, encoding, message, channel, receiver, and decoding. So these are the steps of the process of communication. If the all steps are taken into consideration, then the process of communication is complete. If there is any problem, then that is called distortion of process, or there's a breakage in the process of communication, or barriers to communication. So starting with the first topic, that is the sender. So in order to start communication, you need a sender. If there is no sender, there will be no communication. That is the initiator or the beginner who is going to give the information. For example, if I want to share something with you, then the presence of the first person is necessary. And something is there in your mind and you want to share it. You want to give your information, you want to send your knowledge, you want to give your message, and sender is there. Then is of encoding. Encoding means to put into codes, because when you are having one information, the information is in the subtle form in your brain, in your mind. Then you want to send it. How you are going to send it? Then you need some system, and that system is called encoding or the system of codes. Encoding means to put into codes. And like English language, Hindi language, Bengali language, Gujarati language, Punjabi language, all these are different codes. If I say water, if I say jal, if I say pani, if I say ab, so these are different codes. And these codes are denoting one common thing, that liquid of that we are using for drinking. That means, and the codes are given, and every language has its own different system of codes. For example, you can say in one language, if we say fan, other language will say pankha, or if one language, if I say suffer, and also the same sound is there in other language, suffer. In English language, suffer means that you are having some pain. In the Hindi language, means your suffer means you're traveling. So it means what is important thing? More important thing is of the codes. It's about the your own message, and the codes are made. What is the meaning of codes? So these codes are nothing. These codes are the sets of different languages, and who made these codes and how we are using these codes, that is a separate issue, separate topic of linguistics, where you study the science of language, the background of the science of language, the linguistics, and other topics. Coming back. So this was something about encoding. So encoding is not simply saying into the words. One more important thing is of encoding is also of the signs and symbols. So encoding the language. Language is also of two types. One is language, the other is the signs and codes. That is called verbal or non-verbal. Verbal means use of words, use of language. Non-verbal, when there are no words used. For example, you are going on road and there are traffic lights, red, yellow, green. So no words are spoken, nobody is speaking over there, but even then you can see the thousands of people are standing, then they are ready to move, and then they move, and then they stop, right? So what is that? That is so important thing. That is also communication, but that is non-verbal communication, right? So where there is no use of any word, there is no use of any language, but there is use of the signs, symbols, gestures. That is very important. The next is of message. That encoding means that code includes some messages, and those messages are to be understood. For example, if I am speaking in English and you are able to understand English, then the message becomes clear. If I speak in English or I speak in Punjabi but you don't understand Punjabi, you are not going to understand the meaning. Or if you speak in Bengali and I don't listen or don't understand to Bengali, I cannot understand. So this is a very important thing, that the code should be common. This is an important thing, that code should be common between the sender and the receiver. Like in India, that when you are moving on road, it is always mentioned, please be on the left. But in some countries, like in America and Canada, then they are on the other side. And the reason is this, that if you are having the different codes, then there is going to be crash or the accident. Same thing is also there, that if you are using one code, the other should be able to understand the code in the different, not in the different, but in the same meaning. But if the understanding is in a different meaning, then that becomes barriers to communication. So we are going to discuss again in detail. Next is of channel, means medium of communication. A channel may be oral, may be written, may be video conferencing, may be audio call, may be written notices. And then is of receiver. Receiver is there who is going to receive your message, and decoding. Person is able to decode. For example, if the students are writing in the examination, but they are not writing it legibly, or the teacher is unable to understand what they have written, although the writer has given the expression to his ideas clearly, but the code was not properly given. The code was not properly expressed or not given a proper shape. So the decoding was not proper. Once the decoding is not proper, then the process of communication is not proper. Then again it becomes a barrier to communication. And after decoding, then there is a feedback. So this is just introduction to the process of communication. And even in your study material, it's mentioned in a good way. He says that we engage in communication right from our birth. And when we are interacting with others, we are communicating with them. When a small baby is crying, that is also communication. When you're having the eye gaze, that is also communication. Body language, that is called a non-verbal communication. So face-to-face dialogue and communication is more than just messaging or swapping information. It is not only the involvement of words, but the use of all senses, body language, facial expressions, ability to listen with patience, all contribute to the conveying of messages and information between people, right? And that is important thing. The process of communication starts from messages. Like it's a diagram given that there is the brain of the sender, the message is there, then that is encoding, written or text, whether it is spoken or it is written. Then it is decoding. Decoding means the receiver receives it and try to decode. So encode means to put into codes, and to decode to get out of codes. What I have, for example, I don't know how to write Arabics or the Urdu language or Bengali. Then if it is written, it's a good language and it's written beautifully, but I am unable to decode. Similarly, if any person who does not know English and English is written correct and in the beautiful manner, again he is unable to decode. So for coding and decoding, you need the understanding of the communication medium system in a common and a proper way. And how it is possible? This is possible through teaching, like in the schools, and especially in the primary level or the secondary level. This is going on. What is going on in the schools? This is that we are teaching them this common practice of encoding. This is very important, common thing, important thing. That's why the students are learning in groups. And now at this level, at our undergraduate level, we are able to understand the common codes. Now it says elements of communication. Elements of communication, again, at least two persons or two agents of communication, addresser or addressee, or the sender or the receiver. Then again the topic, the content of the message. Then the channel, letter, telephone, email. These days a new medium, email. Now we are having also other messages, different social media platforms. The code. Code means the language of the message. English, French, Hindi, etc. And again the message form. Yes, very important thing. Message form means particular grammar. Particular grammar is very important. Grammar means what is language? You can say, my dear friends, in communication we are having words, grammar, and their proper arrangement. Not only in English language, but in all languages, you are having the use of words, and the words are called vocabulary. Then you are having the set pattern, and you have to follow the pattern. Like if you say, I read a book. But in Hindi, we will say, no, you can't say that मैं एक किताब. They are having different system. So every language has their own system. And when you are going to translate from English to Hindi, if it is mentioned कि मैं किताब पढ़ रहा हूँ, you will say I am reading a book. If you just translate word by word, you can say I, मैं, am, हूँ, रहा, पढ़ किताब. So it becomes different. Okay, the message becomes clear, but again it is deviation from the set pattern grammar. Grammar is very important. Generally, if you are able to understand language, it is so easy. If you are having the good knowledge of words, vocabulary is there, and the knowledge of language is there, grammar is there, and you know how to use the words appropriately in the proper situations, then you become a good communicator. Then the setting, the social and physical setting. It is a very important thing, social and physical setting, that contextualizing it, and according to circumstances and according to our needs, we are going to encode and decode. Now he says that what is the role of a decoder? If I am speaking and you are listening, and if I am writing, you are reading, it means whether who is in the active role or who is in the passive role. So he says that role of the decoder is also equally important. If the writer is active communicator, the reader is also active communicator. The process of decoding or the addressee is not passive, rather it is also active role. Why? Because language does not have meaning. It's a potential for meaning, and it's a decoder who actively engaged in making meaning. So language is given the meaning. Language has words, and every word is assigned meaning, and the meaning is clear and the common between the encoder and the decoder, right? For example, if I the previous example I am quoting again, that if I say, okay, I suffer. So in English, I suffer. So SUFFER. Suffer means having a pain or the problem. Or in Hindi, we say suffer traveling. So if you say the sound is common, but if the decoder is considering suffer of English in place of Hindi, or of Hindi in place of English, then the meaning becomes different. So it should be clear for all, and it should be common for all. Now, process of communication is possible only then when the barriers to communication are properly overcome. So what are the barriers to communication? So barriers to communication, like the vocabulary is there, concept, background knowledge, cultural specific, physical environment, and different form is barriers to communication. The obstacles to communication, when you are going to communicate, if the obstacles are there, then the obstacles are going to distort the communication process, and the purpose is not fully solved. Now, there are different types of communication. If you are going to categorize communication, then you can have the different categories on different bases. First, expression. Second, flow. Third is of relationship. So there are three parameters. First is expression. How you are going to express communication. First is written, second is oral, and third is gestural. Gestures, body gestures. Second is a flow, internal and external within the organization. It's about like there is a college, the school, or the business house. So internal, external means about the organization. Third is of relationship, formal and informal. So first starting various media of expression, written, oral, and gestural communication. So written, oral, and gestural. Written and oral, again when you're going to study the different types of communication, again you have to study that there are some formal and informal communication, written and oral communication. So written communication, all types of written forms, even your newspaper is also written communication, your study material is written communication, and again in your business organizations, all types of letters, memos, here the different types of written communication. And oral communication, all types of public speaking, lectures, seminars, here the simple and different types of oral communication. And also of your third is of your personal and formal communication. Now, what is the difference between globalization of communication, a global village, and your personal level? What are the objectives of communication? Why do we communicate? So starting with another topic, first was of your process of communication, second was barriers to communication, third of types of communication, or the objectives of communication. Objectives of communication are so important in our life that without the proper communication, you are unable to achieve your goals. Like language and new technologies. He says in the language and new technologies, these days we're having short messaging service that is called SMS, short messaging service, that is now we're using. Again, this is used as a mode of communication and of your written. And these days now we're moving ahead. Again, even we're having also the other WhatsApp and other medias. But these are different types of communication in the social media or in the electronic media. So process of communication and barriers to communication, forms of communication, objectives of communication. Now we come towards of communication skills. So far we have been discussing about communication process. What is communication? And now what are the communication skills? Because skills are very important for the effective communication. Communication skills are those skills that we need for effective communication. So they are given in the acronym of LSRW skills: listening skills, speaking skills, reading skills, and writing skills. So, listening skills, speaking skills, reading skills, and writing skills, these are the natural flow of communication. That, like, there is a small baby and who is listening and starts learning by listening, then starts speaking by listening. Then when you go to school, then first of all you read, then you write. So listening, speaking, reading, and writing, all skills are important. The listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills are important in the general process. And once you are going to learn new language, then this becomes different. How? For example, if today I want to learn one more language, then first of all you start with the reading. Reading means that is the you are going to find out or observing or identifying the symbols or the script. Then you are going to add the symbols and making them one word. Then you start writing. Then you start speaking and listening. So listening, speaking, reading, writing skills are important skills, and in the coming sessions we are going to discuss all these topics in detail. Very important topic, that is of verbal and non-verbal communication. Although communication is one part of this, it is verbal and non-verbal communication means that the non-verbal communication becomes very important for effective communication skills. Yes, so he says that in our life we use 35% of the verbal communication and 65% of the non-verbal communication, and including skills. Non-verbal communication means facial expressions, tone of voice, movement, appearance, eye contact, gestures, and posture. Even if you are not even talking, if even the way you walk, even the way you stand, even the way you behave, your facial expressions, they're also showing your state of mind, your behavior, your ideas. Because sometimes you find that even then we are not saying something, but even our facial expressions, our behavior with others, they are saying many things. So that's why it says communication is often understood mainly as a verbal communication, but it is also non-verbal, and we are going to discuss in this coming section. That is, verbal communication is communication through words. So this can occur in either of two modes, oral or written. Oral communication is more natural and spontaneous, and we use this mode most of the time. So a great percentage of our communication is oral communication, but in formal situations, written communication is required. And not everyone can communicate effectively in writing. So this may be because of psychological barriers or lack of technique. So we will discuss these barriers to effective communication later. So it is important to understand which mode to select for communicating effectively. So first of all, let's discuss where the oral and written modes are effectively used and where of the combination of the two is required. So first is, where is the oral mode used? Oral mode used, personal authentication is needed between like an officer, a person, secretary, journalist, or the source. It means personal authentication is required. Then again, social needs like the speaking with a visiting delegation and situation demanding maximum understanding. Atmosphere of openness is required. Decisions or informations have to be communicated quickly, and the confidential matters are to be discussed, like exchange of positive or the negative information. So these are the areas where you have to use the oral mode in a better way. Next is, where is the written mode used? So where information is to be stored and retrieved, means for like official records, then you want to record or you want to store them, then for this type of communication you need the written form. Like the reliability and validity of an idea are important, the verification and authentication of an idea, and also the crucial decisions. And also communication is subject to review and reconsideration, and sometimes where the personal appearance is not required and the communicator needs to extend himself in time and space. So this was the case where we are using the written form of communication. The next is of where both modes are used, because the communication is the combination not only of one or two, it is a combination of the all four modes: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and all are called the dimensions of communication. So where both modes are used, first of all, that where people are expected to carry home ideas, like the follow-up activities, optimal understanding is required, both clarity and impact are needed, presentation is exploratory, and the audience participation is desired, and where abstract or remote ideas are to be communicated and the difficult ideas are to be communicated. So in these cases, both written and oral forms of communication are used, and they are called the verbal communication. Next is of your non-verbal communication. So all communication that conveys a message needs to be verbal. We can convey our feelings through a smile, frown, silence. So even without verbal communication, you can easily convey. Like non-verbal communication is communication that is not conveyed through words. And even you can say that there is one professor of psychology who said that almost 55% of the impact of a message is through the non-verbal mode. And non-verbal communication may be visual or through your listening mode. So symbols, signs, sounds, eye contact, facial expressions, body postures, gestures, facial appearance. So these are constituting non-verbal communication. And since silence is also there, even if you remain silent, again this is also non-verbal communication. How silence? Because if you're asking someone to reply and if he or she does not reply, then silence is there. So silence is also non-verbal communication. So in olden times, when communication media was not there, not properly developed, even the drums and fires were also used as a mode of communication. And people would communicate through a relay in the beating of drums. So there were different lengths and notes of the drum beat for different purposes. Even the drums were also used. Drum beat was also used for communication. And the symbols, signs are used for one-way communication, and it is adequate and effective. And for example, it's enough to give a picture of a petrol pump or a telephone on a signpost for a driver on a highway to know what is available nearby. And school bell gives information to the children to assemble or disperse. And the language barrier can easily be overcome with non-verbal signs. Like signs are used instead of words like exit, stairs, and major national or international public places such as airports, railway stations, tourist centers. So even their pictures, their photographs can be displayed, and they are also going to be used. And also even in your book, the study material, the different signs are given, like of the sign of the bus stand, sign of the post office, sign of the hospital, ambulance, telephone booth. So these are the different signs, and the chart of common public signs and symbols. And these signs and symbols are going to help us so that we can make a good guess of what they convey. And the key to these symbols is given at the end. Okay, that is going to be helpful at later on. So similarly, communication can be made with gestures. A cricket umpire makes gestures to the scorer and players about the runs, their nature, and also to declare them out. So if you're watching cricket match, then the umpire is not speaking. The umpire is making a gesture, and we are going to understand whether this is a four or a sixer or whether the batsman is out, right? So what is the now judicious selection of the right mode of communication? It means whether we should use verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written, oral. So in business communication, in the non-verbal mode includes using audio-visual aids or the media that supplement or support oral or written communication, right? And the studies suggest that 45% of our communication is supplemented through non-verbal mode. So it acts as a stimulus to effective communication. And verbal and non-verbal communication are supportive and complementary. So these two modes of communication are not contradictory. They are rather complementary. They are going to help each other. They are going to support each other. Now, what are the advantages of non-verbal communication? The advantages are clear. First, that visual communication is very advantageous when communication has to be made to a large group, or a person has to understand a short, simple message in a fleeting moment. Like signs are there, as we discussed earlier, that like your traffic lights, there also the very important thing that no person is standing there, no recording is there, only the signs are there, and even thousands of people are following, and they are following in a proper manner. Graphs, charts, and flow charts, again they are going to play important role. And the next importance of your eye contact. So eye contact is very important. Eye contact is also part of your body language, and it's also a part of your non-verbal communication. And like eyes, if you are having the long times of eye contact, or the closing the eyes, or the raising the eyebrows, or the looking down. For example, if the teacher is asking a student, "What have you done?" and the student is not responding, just um, hey, looking down, then it shows that student is not ready to give the answer. So it means eyes or the other body parts of your facial expression, your body movement, your hand movement of hands, everything. This is important. Even my dear student, is also there is a table. Think that I wish you should learn this table, and where it is said that maintaining eye contact means that you are keen to talk. Looking away, disagreement. Looking down, shyness. Looking up over the person, lack of interest. Closing the eyes, lack of interest. Raising the eyebrows, surprise. Widening of eyes, again threat or shock. Irregular movement of the eyeballs, confusion. And this was about your eye contact or the eye movements. Now, even it is also given one table in your study material about lips. Tight lips, showing anger or low spirits, biting the lips, nervousness, and or again a foot tapping, impatience, leaning back, relaxed. So, posture, distance, intimate space, social and consultative spaces, public space, all are important non verbal modes of communication. And last is of your silence. He says silence is a powerful and important medium of communication. It has a dramatic impact, and it also having detrimental effect. It shows power. So silence can be interpreted in more than one way. Sensitivity for the effective use of silence is as a communication tool. And when the person does not speak, it means he is communicating. It doesn't mean if the person doesn't speak, it doesn't mean that he is not communicating. He does communicate, but what is in his mind, he knows better. Then barriers to communication: communicator, barrier, receiver, and ambiguity in expression, homophones, contextual meaning, and stress in intonation, word shift and style. So it is the beginning of your first block, where you can find that communication process is so important. Today, just we tried to discuss your first block in short, because it's not possible that we are going to discuss, or I'm going to teach and you are going to learn the whole study material in one lecture, but it is only just a beginning. So there are 4 blocks, and in each block you are having different topics, different units are there. So today it was our first session, and we discussed in brief about the first block. In the first block, it is about communication, process of communication, barriers to communication, verbal and non-verbal communication, and role of silence, signs and symbols in communication. And in the coming sessions, we are going to discuss further, so that in 4 lectures you can easily understand the importance of communication and how it is going to be studied later on. Moreover, in the IGNOU University system, you know that you are the students and you are the teacher yourselves, and here we are just facilitators to help you and to show you the path. And I wish that all of you please keep in touch with the Learners Sports Center, and I hope that these difficult times are going to come to an end, the grace of God, very shortly. And once it is over, and again the counseling sessions, the personal counseling sessions will also be held in the colleges, so for your solving any problems and any queries later on. And I wish that you remain happy and stay safe and healthy and have focus on your studies. So today this is the completion of our first session. Tomorrow again we're going to meet at 1:30 p.m. with your block 2. Until then, you can go through your study material, and so that you can have just orientation of mind regarding your coming lecture. Okay, thank you. Bye.